It's time for another round of cool tools that could find their way into your toolkit or everyday carry. And as you've come to expect, these are all tools that offer something a little bit out of the ordinary. And as always, I'll provide links to everything featured in the description down below. Okay, first up I have the GH Carabiner from Ant Design, and this looks like it came from the future. It's a lightweight titanium carabiner style clip with some tools built in. The carabiner function allows you to clip this and any attached gear onto, well, any other gear, and it locks at the push of a button for added security. We have a hole here for a lanyard or a keyring, followed by a bottle opener, and then we have a scalpel blade utility knife, spring loaded to keep the blade recessed and non-locking, which should be fine for most use cases involving a blade like this. Then we have a 4mm lock-in bit driver, and you just slide the lock-in mechanism to open and close the screwdriver, which comes with a flathead and also a Phillips screwdriver bit, which is held in place magnetically behind the knife blade and retained with the screwdriver in the closed position. Further along we then have a spirit level, which is replaceable, and you actually get a spare in the box. And then on the other side we have a diamond file, which is great for fingernails, and we also have ruler markings in centimeters and inches. Now the quality from Ant Design is always great, and this version is made from grade 5 titanium, so a great combination of high strength and low weight, with this coming in at just 56 grams or 2 ounces. But that premium material does come at a cost, which in this case is $109. However, there is an aluminium version which is even lighter than titanium, although not quite as tough, and it does feel exceptionally light in the hand at just 42 grams or 1.5 ounces, and is much cheaper too at $59. Now the aluminium version does lose the bottle opener, due no doubt to the use of a softer metal, which is no great loss, I would say, as every other bit of kit seems to include one anyway. But you do get this nice anodized orange detailing on the locking button. And I've noticed the ruler markings here are printed, whereas on the titanium version they are engraved. And both designs here allow for tritium glow-in-the-dark tubes, if that's your thing. I really like the look of these, and if you're on the market for a giant keyring or gear clip with a few extra features built in, then one of these might just do the trick. LTT, or Linus Tech Tips, is one of the biggest tech channels on YouTube, founded and hosted by Linus Sebastian. And in addition to several YouTube channels, they have a huge product division too. And as part of their range, Linus and his team have been on a mission to create the ultimate ratchet screwdriver. And this is it. And I have to say, it does look good. The material choices are really nice. The matte finish on the handle is smooth but still offers plenty of grip thanks to the handle shaping, and the nylon and ABS polymer material has a premium feel in the hand. The screwdriver shaft is nicely designed from a single piece of stainless steel, and this colour option has the orange accents, which I like, and there is subtle LTT branding on the base of the handle. Now this is my usual go-to ratchet screwdriver from Wera, and this one and ones like it have served me well over many years, so I was particularly keen to see how they compare side by side. And a few things immediately stand out. Linus's has a lot less play in the lock position, and the ratchet is also much smoother, a bit like winding an expensive clock, whereas the Wera, well, doesn't. And selecting the ratchet direction feels a little bit more precise too, with Linus's compared with the Wera, which has a lot more movement and play. The stainless steel shaft we see here has some very grippy knurling, which makes it easy to turn loose bolts or screws using the fingers before more force is needed. The Wera, on the other hand, has a hexagonal profile and a bit more friction, and is therefore not as easy to turn using the fingers. And both have a very strong magnet when it comes to holding a bit in place. Looking now at the bit holders in the handles, the Wera pops open with the push of a button on the base, whereas with Linus's you pull it open. Both work fine, but Linus's is smoother and has less play, and it has a bit more of a positive and satisfying action than the Wera, which is a bit clunky in comparison. The handle length is about ½ inch longer on Linus's, but it manages to fit in twice as many bits. The bit compartment, as you can see, is bigger, and Linus's makes use of shorty 20mm bits, which means you can get 12 in here instead of 6 in the Wera, including this rather useful magnetic bit for drop screws. Now, Linus's can accept the longer bits if you have a preference, but it limits the storage to 6 like in the Wera. But if we tried to put the shorty bits in the Wera, we can still only fit 6 in here and not 12. So, is there anything where the Wera beats Linus's screwdriver? Well, only one I can find, and that is price. Linus's comes in at $70 in the US and will cost more in the UK with shipping and tax. The Wera, in comparison, costs $45 in the US or £44 in the UK. I've not had a chance to test Linus's screwdriver in real world use over a long period of time. This really is more of a first impression, but plenty of people on YouTube have, and I don't have any concerns from what I've seen when it comes to quality or capability. Now, I've always been a big fan of Wera and I use a lot of their tools, and they are really good and good value too, but I have to say that Linus's screwdriver does beat it rather convincingly in this first impression, which I guess you might expect considering the price difference. So, not cheap, but definitely worth it. This is the brand new G5 from Wuben, and it's a tiny all-metal feature-packed gadget of a flashlight with this rather unique form factor. And if all that already sounds interesting, wait until you hear the price. And Wuben are the sponsor of today's video, so a big thank you to them for supporting the channel. As I film this, the G5 has only just come to market, and when I run through everything this light has to offer, bear in mind that it costs just $20. Okay, this is made from aluminium with a hard anodized finish and weighs just 53 grams, which is under 2 ounces. And as you can see, it's very compact, measuring around 2.5 inches by 1.5 by ½ an inch thick. And as you can see, we have here a double light source, and it can rotate through 180 degrees, so you can angle it as needed. And on the side here, we have a recessed rotating dial, which is also a push switch. And below that, there's a sliding switch, which locks the light to prevent accidental activation and also acts as a cover for the USB-C charging socket. And then we have a pocket clip, which unusually can be positioned to the front or the back of the light or tucked out of the way on the side if it's not needed. And then we also have a lanyard or keyring attachment point and a magnetic mounting base. And the base is flat, which means it can self-stand as well as be clipped onto a pack or clothing or magnetically attached. Now, when you switch the light on, it remembers the last used light setting, which in this case is the main white light, and this has stepless brightness control using the dial on the side and direct access to a maximum 400 lumen turbo at the push of a button and back again. And the white light can run for between 50 minutes and an impressive 65 hours on a single charge, depending on the light level used. Now, next to the white light, there is a separate RGB coloured light source. And once on, you can choose the colour you want using the rotating dial. For example, red as a warning light, or perhaps green to preserve night vision, or a specific colour to use as a mood light. Then a double press will bring on beacon mode, particularly useful with the red light as, say, an emergency bike light or safety light on unlit roads. And this extends the runtime of the coloured light from 9 hours to 45 on a single charge. And there is also a multicoloured strobing light with 3 variations, activated with a double press of the side switch from off. The light charges via USB-C with the USB-C socket covered for protection, and the charge status of the light can be determined with a long press of the side button. And the 450 mAh battery in here takes just 90 minutes to charge from empty, and this flashlight has an IP rating of 68, meaning it can cope with full submersion in water, so heavy rain is never going to be a problem. The G5 is currently available in 2 colours. We have this black version and also this very nice green colour, which has a more matte textured finish. So all in all, a very nice looking, well made and super compact flashlight with lots of practical features, along with that great battery life, and all of that coming in at just $20, which I think is an amazing price. And if you want to know more, I'll include all the links you need in the description down below, and a big thank you to Wuben for supporting the channel. This is the Metmo multi-drive, a really interesting tool from the British-based engineering company we have featured before, who are known for their quality and innovation. It's a craft multi-tool. It's a knife, a pencil, a scribe, a file, and a 4mm bit driver and more all in one, and it's been designed to feel familiar in the hand like a pencil. The shaft itself is aluminium with a rotating base on a bearing, so it spins easily when in the palm of the hand. And at the working end we have a collet system pioneered 150 years ago and perfected by engineers in the 70s for holding high-speed machine tools perfectly centralized and stable. Exposing the mechanism shows how this stainless steel collet system works. It's like a tiny drill chuck which grips when pushed into a tapered end, and simply rotating the front of the tool a quarter of a turn with the help of these knurled grip points will hold the selected tool tightly in place quickly and easily. Included with the basic tool you get a scalpel utility blade holder and blades, a 4mm hex bit holder with a couple of included bits, and that means this will work with the vast range of 4mm bits which are readily available. You also get a scribe head, 6 graphite pencil leads, a grease lead which is like a China marker, and a flat file. And there are more accessories available to buy as well. Now Metmo say this is made for designers, engineers, thinkers, and anyone who just wants to take a moment and get creative and play around. I can also see this being a perfect tool for model makers and anyone working at small scale. Being Metmo, this is not going to be cheap, and it costs £94, so around $100. But when you consider this is engineered to last like the tools from a bygone era, then I'm sure the right user will get their money's worth. Not long ago I featured this on the channel. This is the TiSpanner 2.0 keyring size titanium adjustable wrench from TiSpanner, with a few additional features like a measuring caliper, glass breaker tip, nail puller, bottle opener and nail file. And being so small is great for portability, but that size sacrifices an element of capability. Well, that now has been addressed with the launch of the latest TiSpanner version 3.0, and this has just been funded on Kickstarter. As you can see, it is the same design but significantly larger than the original, and this version is also titanium, weighing in at a very reasonable 48 grams or 1.7 ounces, and this one has a polished finish which I really like. The bigger size of course means it can tackle much bigger jobs with its wider 2-inch jaw opening. This version though does miss out on the convenience of the keyring form factor of the original, although it still offers the measuring caliper, glass breaker tip, nail puller, bottle opener and nail file, all of which are more effective in the larger size. Then we have a new feature which is on the side here, and it's a double-ended bit held in place magnetically. This one is a T6 Torx and a very small Phillips, and the idea is that you clamp it in position in the jaws of the wrench and use it like this. Now to be honest, I'm not a big fan of this, as to me it seems like a bit of an afterthought. It's not easy to use in this way, and the single bit I think may get lost, and I'd understand it more if it was designed to take something like the Leatherman Flat Bit instead. Other than that criticism, the quality is very good, and I think this could be a genuinely useful tool, especially when you factor in those additional features. The price though is sure to be a barrier, as this is expected to have a retail price of $170 once the Kickstarter campaign discounts have come to an end. So a really nice tool, but on the expensive side. And at this size there are more affordable options, just perhaps not quite as cool. Then another offering from Linus Tech Tips. This time we have the Precision Screwdriver for those more intricate jobs, and there's a lot to like here too. For a start, it's compact and it fits really nicely in the hand, and it takes standard 4mm bits which are held in place with a super strong neodymium magnet. We have an anodized aluminium handle with a steel shaft and an knurled grip, and an end cap with subtle LTT branding, which spins for what is described as a smooth screwing experience, which I'm sure it is. And when I say spins, it really does. There are ceramic bearings in here, meaning every screwdriver effectively comes with a free fidget spinner. And inside the handle, which is held both open and closed with magnets, is space for your 3 favourite bits. Then we have the bit set and case, and the case is a tough ABS plastic held closed with these strong neodymium magnets, and the lid doubles as a parts tray and it easily detaches. And then what really surprised me is that the lid contains less powerful ferrite magnets, but all over, to ensure your presumably ferrous screws and parts don't get lost, which is a really nice feature. The bits are made from a quality nickel plated steel and are held in place in this EVA foam, and there are 60 of them, including a 1/4 inch to 4mm adapter, so you can use all of these bits with a larger screwdriver if needed. When it comes to a small screwdriver, you can't really ask for any more. Now you can buy the screwdriver and the case with the bit set separately at $30 each, or you can buy both together as a set for $50, and they ship all over the world. Galvanox have sent in a few things designed for use with the Leatherman Flat Bit Driver, like the one I have here on my Wave Plus. So let's have a look. First up, we have the double-sided bit kit, and that contains 20 double-ended bits. That means 40 different bit options, plus the double-ended micro driver, so 42 bits in total. And that all comes in at $25, which is actually pretty close to the $30 or £30 price tag of the original Leatherman version of the same thing. So does Galvanox offer anything over and above the Leatherman version? Well, they tell me the hardness of their version is 59 HRC, and that exceeds that of Leatherman's, which is 57 HRC. And they also point out that the laser etching of the labelling on each bit is clearer, which it is. And also Galvanox supply their bits in a double-sided single holder, whereas Leatherman provide 2 single-sided holders instead. In my case, I generally choose my top 20 bits from the 40 available and use a single-sided holder which fits my Surge pouch better, and that favours the Leatherman option. If though you prefer to carry all the bits, then Galvanox do offer a more compact solution, if it fits in the pouch, that is. All in all though, I would say this is a very nice alternative to the original, and as I film this, it is only currently available in the US, but coming to the UK and other markets soon. Next from Galvanox, we have a 1/4 inch ratchet driver for a 1/4 inch bit or socket or bit extender. This comes in at £15 in the UK or $20 in the US, and it competes directly with the 711L version I've shown previously on the channel. Now the 711L version costs pretty much the same, so how do they compare? Well, if I put them side by side, the 711L is slightly longer, but the head is quite a bit smaller. And if we look at a side profile, as you can see, the 711L is significantly thinner than the Galvanox. Now, perhaps the Galvanox is tougher as a result. I guess it should be by just looking at it. But personally, I prefer the smaller 711L, which is also half the weight of the Galvanox. And then we have this, the Galvanox Universal Socket Tool, and this is to replace a box full of different size sockets. And you simply push this onto the nut or the bolt head, and the spring-loaded pins compress, leaving the rest in place to grip the nut or the bolt. And this solution has been around for a while as a 1/4 inch socket, but I'm not sure if the Leatherman bit driver is going to be able to handle the force that may be needed to tackle a large stubborn bolt without the risk of it breaking. And at this size, I see this as more of a toolkit item, in which case you're more likely to have access to a stronger 1/4 inch driver option. But if that doesn't bother you, the price for this is pretty reasonable at £16 or $19. And if you've enjoyed this roundup, you might want to check out one of my other cool tools videos. In the meantime, thank you as always for watching, and I hope you can join me in the next one.